Oh. Oh. Yeah, you can tell people the vision. Cool. Are we good? Are we up and running on Zoom? Awesome. Good morning, you guys. I know we have a little bit of a lighter group tonight. A lot of people are actually at the Tom Ferry event in Portland here. So it'll be interesting. It sounded like a great event. It was just all day. So but all about listings and growing your business. So it's always cool when our agents go get outside perspectives on things too. Just, our KW trainings are awesome. And then all of the other industry ones are too. Let's talk about what we have going on today. So right after this, hosted by the ALC, Jenny Hill, our career development committee, has planned these role plays because when we did them once before, we got really good feedback on the buyer and listing presentation role plays from our top agents because you guys want to hear what our top agents are saying. So we are going to be doing that again every month, right? Cool. We're doing this every month. So one of them is after the meeting today, and Bradley, I believe, you're going to be doing listing or buyer presentation today. Both. Okay. So that should be good. Listing and buyer presentation from Bradley. And Nikki and Tara, come up all the way as long as you're here. We'll introduce you. Nikki and Tara are new here. Wave to everyone, you guys. They're not new to real estate, though. They're just new here. And they're a team. And they're nice. We like them. So welcome. But yeah, so stick around in this room right after this meeting for the role plays. And then Dwight is going to be hosting a couple times a month, just from 9 to 10, really casually, a scripts and objection handling workshop. So it's casual. You just stop in and whatever you're wanting to talk through, like practice, like talk about how Dwight would overcome an objection. I'll be doing it. So this one, there's no registration or anything. You just show up and it should be a good opportunity just to talk through some different scenarios of the market and everything like that. And then just a reminder that next week, a lot of us will be gone for family reunions. So we will have skeleton staff and we won't have this meeting, but Gary Keller will have his live stream at this exact time. So you'll be able to hopefully do that instead. But just a reminder that for next week, there's basically nothing on the calendar. And then the following week, once we're back, there will be a CE class on HOA tips. There's a lot of things that the title companies see go wrong now with HOAs or a lot of different assessments or things. So just making sure that you're, crossing your T's and dotting your I's of everything with HOAs, especially because a lot of the condos are getting to the age where things need to be replaced and maybe there hasn't been enough monthly dues taken out. So that one's sponsored by Tycor Title, Lunch and Learn. So register just to make it easier to get your CE certificate and to have account for lunch. And then also that week, we are going to be doing the monthly KW Wealth live stream. And this is from KW Wealth out of Texas. Their live streams are really good. We have to pay money for these as a market center. So the content is really good. There's workbooks that we'll print out. So do we have a registration for that at Kohler, or are we just doing a show up? Should we have a registration? Let's have a registration because we'll print workbooks for that one. And we'll have more details about the specific topic here coming soon, but just save the date. That's going to be monthly and it's going to be the last Thursday of every month from 10 to 11. So if you are interested in growing your personal wealth, that would be a good time slot to just block out. Oh, look, and I already talked about it, but there is a slide for it. Okay, next week. So if you go into Connect, you'll be able to access the live stream for Gary Keller's vision speech, which is like 8:30 to 11. And it might not go till 11. It might usually it'll cut off around 10 probably. And then also on Friday, Mo Anderson's Inspirational Morning will also be live streamed. But if you are not going to family reunion, you definitely want to do the vision speech. We can throw it out in here. We just didn't want to put too much on Steph's plate since she's like holding down the fort when a lot of us are leaving, but we can throw it on in here. Or you guys can throw it on in any of the conference rooms if you guys are like hanging out here, but definitely access, you would want to watch that. Okay, and then our friends at Homefront, they're gonna do another Hot by Making event. Okay. The Valentine's Day one was so much fun. Oh, for everyone who came to that one.
Testing.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody can hear me. Hey, I just wanted to give you a little bit of info on this. There is going to be an RSVP, so please take a picture of that. That way we know how much stuff to order. Did anybody attend that that's in the room? I know a couple of people did. So super cute idea. Basically what we're going to do this time is we're going to put together little bags with a little graphic that says something along the lines, lucky to be working with you, lucky to know you, something like that. And I'm going to make it is going to be St. Patty's Day theme, so you can hand it out during that time window, but also doesn't have to be, because I'm thinking you can also take some of these and take them to open houses, hand them to people that are coming through your open houses, as a handout kind of idea as well. I think the average cost is going to be $4. So $4 a piece on that. What they're going to be is a graphic, a bag. They're going to have a cute little rubber ducky in there that is St. Patty's Day themed, a lotto ticket to go with the lucky idea, some little gold foil wrapped chocolates all in this little bag. It's going to be super cute. $4 a piece. I think it's going to give you something to build you guys' businesses. Super excited to do that for you. But I do need to have money received at the link for however many you want to buy. So if you go into that, it's my actual Venmo. Just put the number you want, send the money. I mean, I can do the math, but I want to make sure we're on the same page in case someone else didn't do the math right. It'll have your name unless you're using somebody else's Venmo. Make sure you put your last name in there. That's how I'll track. I need it by next Friday, and we will have the event the following Friday. So the cutoff is the 28th, due on the 7th. Any questions on that? Is that covered?
No, we'll pay for your first 10.
Oh, yes.
So, and we cut it off at 10 because there is the real about like $4 cost for these for everyone. But we want you to come make pop buys. So,
yes,
if you've never made a pop buy in your life, you should still come and make your free 10.
Yes, for sure. So that's where we're collecting money for above and beyond. I did not think about this, but the free 10, I'm not sure how we're RSVPing for that, for the freebies.
Cole's got it. When you RSVP, it'll ask you how many you're going to make.
Okay. I was like, whoo.
It's all at the link. It's good.
Perfect. Anyways, so would love to see everybody. The last one was super fun. We bring some snacks and just hang out and do that thing. We help you mass produce them, so you're not feeling overwhelmed by that as well. And I guess a quick market update, just so we can get them moving on to their other things. We're looking at rates right around 7 for conventional, and 6.5-ish for FHA, give or take a little bit. So that's kind of where the market is. And I hope you guys all have a great week.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And yeah, thank you guys all for coming to the awards last week too. So that was great. Now that we've had the awards, we can release our full closed volume like rankings here for 2024. So our top individual agent for sales volume, as you saw at the awards, was Linda Heinrichs, but Bradley was a close second. Grace Kim, Chris Burley. Look at all you guys in this room. Nikos Cricket, Mark Scholes, and Barbara. And then for teams and groups, Daryl Bodle, Real Estate #1, Fox #2, Waldman and James #3, Jay Hill, Clark Group, Kama Homes, DC Homes Group, and Ellison Team Homes rounding out the top 8. So round of applause. And yeah, great year, in a year that a lot of people did have a lot of challenges. So you guys did really good. And then we're about to have the January results will be out. So we'll start talking about 2025. But happy birthday to all of our February birthdays. Bradley was just over the weekend. And JS, Grace's husband. So yeah, happy birthday to all of our February birthdays. And just a reminder, gentlemen, if you don't know, Valentine's Day is Friday. Maybe make a dinner reservation.
Yes. Any Popeyes?
There's a couple leftover Popeyes you could use. All right. Okay. So Noah, let's talk about Kohana for a sec. I want to welcome up Noah Kirschbaum, one of our awesome agents, to talk about his company Kohana, and what they do and what they have available. Wait, but do a mic because there's people on Zoom.
Morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
It doesn't amplify you, but it makes it so they can hear.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I came and presented what we're doing a little bit a while ago. My name is Kirschbaum. Our company is Kohana Homes. We do vacation co-ownership, so multiple owners of vacation homes. And we've got a great listing. We're partnering with Barnes to sell a unit at the Francis. I don't know if everybody has been there before, but in Lake Oswego, there's that new building above the car wash. That's the Francis. That's 16 luxury penthouses. And they have one townhome, which is on the end. And they're letting us market it and sell it as 50% interest. So we're going to be doing a tour of the facility. And I'm going to do a breakdown of how Kohana works. We're going to couple it with Veronica and Barbara and do an ALC luxury event at the Francis. We're going to do it sometime in April. But basically, we've got listings in Cannon Beach, Lincoln City, and Bend also. Well, it's technically Redmond, but maybe one in Bend. So what the class or workshop at the facility will be about is how do you go into your database? How do you put this option in front of your clients and explain to them that you, Lake Oswego agents, can help them buy vacation homes in Oregon, either utilizing this or just helping them on your own because you're an agent in the state of Oregon. So we were doing this all over the country with great success. We're working with someone with in Kauai right now. We're about to close a property there doing this idea of ours. So if you have any interest in this, you can proactively come up to me. I have an office over by these guys on that side of the hall there. Please stop by, or I'll put out a little flyer about this event and what we're doing there. And our website is kohanahomes.com if you just want to poke around.
Wait, talk a little bit more just about overall, like why clients might want to do fractional.
Well, and the difference between fractional and what we're doing is in fractional, you break up the deed into fractions and you would own a portion of the fraction, the portion of the deed. In our model, you are an owner of an LLC and the LLC owns the home. And then eventually we sell the entire home. So in our model, there's a greater potential for ROI because buying and selling vacation homes whole is where the money is, as opposed to fractional, where often you lose money or you break even on a fraction. But why you'd want to do this is because you can own luxury real estate for a fraction of the price, right? So if it's a $2 million property, or let's say the one that we're listing now in Colorado, I just got the signed addendum from someone. It's $1 million property, but we're selling 4 $250,000 shares. And in that community, which is Denver, you access Winter Park, that mountain, sort of the way that you access Bend or Mount Hood, which is on the weekends, every once in a while. So you can own a property, own a whole property, use it for a period of time, and then potentially earn an ROI by selling it at the right time. And we do all the bill paying, we do all the property management, we do all the LLC management, we do all the calendar create. So basically, the owners may never know each other. They may know each other. It could be a family, it could be strangers, it could be friends, but Kohana is the management company and we manage the process, the experience, and everything for the group. So if you want to do this in a different place, you have a management company that's helping you with it. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great question. So when you buy the house, you agree to an exit date. And when you hit that date, you can either all agree to extend, or if there's a disagreement, then we sell it at that date. Yeah. Depending on where you are, yeah. Like on Maui right now, where we started, they're getting rid of short-term renting. So probably not. But Kauai doesn't seem to have a problem with that, for example. And so, yes. So theoretically, if it's allowable, then we would manage that. Yeah. No, you can, if it's a tenancy in common as opposed to an LLC, then yes. So we're open to that. But if it's an LLC, then no. But when you're in as a group, the LLC could 1031 into something when we sell, but it would have to be the whole group agreeing to then 1031. So you can upgrade over and over again in this model. You just can't 1031 in unless it's a tenancy in common. Yeah. We suggested 8 years because if it's a group of 4, then everybody would theoretically get the first pick of time twice. But every group is different. Somebody wanted to do 3 years. This one in Kauai is 5 years. So every place is applicable to what makes sense there. But we're starting with 8 years. Yeah. That's a great question. An LLC can get financing, but if it's 4 strangers, then you would basically be liable for your other strangers' portion, which people are reluctant to do. So we're actively trying to find something where you would be liable for just your own share. That's the part that lenders don't want to do. But we're talking to some private lenders, and we're hopefully we'll find something. But no, unless what my partner likes to say is you can leverage another real estate asset and get something like a HELOC or a line of credit against that and use it. That would be a way to finance it. But we're not there yet, but we're going to get there.
Azure will find it.
What's that?
Azure will find
Well,
it.
let's see. I'd love to talk to you about that. Yeah. But yeah, so we're doing that, like I said, all over Oregon. And, some of your clients have listings or homes that they might want to sell, but they don't really want to sell and they want to keep a portion. That's a great person to introduce us to. If you have someone who's a buyer, let us know. We're not taking clients. You stay their realtor the whole time. Kohana is an LLC management company. In that capacity, I'm not a realtor. So we work with your client. You're the realtor. We're the management company.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll keep you posted on the data that walk through in the class.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Thanks for the time.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
You're motivating me for vacation home.
On 43 right up on. Yeah, and actually the views from those units are incredible.
Cool. And anyone will be able to, we'll invite you all to the luxury event to just check it out too.
Nice.
Okay, let's invite up Debbie and Cameron to talk about agent referrals. So Debbie and Cameron are our ALC committee chairs for the agent to agent referrals. Hey, wait, are you guys gonna stand or sit? Where are you going? Yeah, sit. Yeah. Whatever you want.
We have something to present. So
I love it.
that works.
Yeah. But just use the mic just for our friends on Zoom. Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
And we just wanted to open
Our goal is to break it down into categories that might make sense within the world of agent to agent referrals. So, and this is very high level, just to explain what the categories are, and then as she was saying, we'll have more masterminds, trainings, classes, whatever, not as a part of the business meetings later in the year. So just look out for those on the AWPP calendar.
Wait, Debbie,
sorry, am I not loud enough? I always feel like I'm really loud.
Zoom.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, they can hear in the room, but then everyone on Zoom says, we can't hear.
Okay. An agent to agent real estate referral is when one real estate agent recommends or refers a client to another agent for their real estate needs. Most of the time, I think when you think about that, you're thinking out of state, correct? And we're going to go through this a little bit and explain why it's important to have state or in your community, Portland metro areas, wherever you're at, relationships with agents as well. 43 to 47% of home buyers, the real estate agent recommended by someone they know. So I think that's a pretty good statistic and why you would want to make these relationships. Benefits of out-of-state agent to agent referrals for you and an agent, expand your business. Referrals can help agents gain access to other agents' clients and properties, which all contribute to the increased units sold and increased revenue. Does anybody have a question as to what agent to agent referrals really are? Okay, perfect. Building relationships. You want to build relationships with clients and their agents to accept the referrals from them. You're showing them the value of collaboration. You're building trust with them. Building relationships can lead to more opportunities. So I like to treat my agents that I'm getting referrals from my clients. So, I mean, we set them up on action plans. And I mean, you're doing pop-bys. You're sending them monthly emails that you are in touch with the area, that you know what's going on in the areas that you sell. You want to build trust with that agent so that they feel comfortable sending you their business, as well as you want to find out like how they do business. You know, you don't want to just drop your client on somebody that doesn't treat your clients the same way that you do and doesn't get the same service that they're used to. High quality leads. It's a great way of lead genning. That's just your time and not a lot of money. We know that they're qualified. They're already vetted by that agent. And then you can network with other agents and gain access to their expertise and ideas. Collaborating with other agents can help you with knowledge as well.
And it's fantastic for repeat business as well. If you do all of what Debbie was describing, then you have a rapport, and then to get that call back again 6 months later or a year later is almost guaranteed if you perform. So.
And I think it's really cool that you guys are talking about this, because with the increased intentionality, you can be a lot more successful with agent-to-agent referrals. Because I think a lot of our agents probably just use referrals when they need them, right? When you need to find someone or when somebody happens to find you, awesome. But with a few specific things, you can be a lot more intentional about that.
Totally. I mean, I think you want to nurture those relationships just like you would with clients, right? You want to continue conversations, education, gifts, you know, all the little things that you would do just as if they were clients, because they're sending you business. You would treat them, you know, when I get a referral from a client here, I send them a thank you. I send them a gift. You want to do the same thing with your agents. This is kind of a lot of what we just talked about, just kind of more of the benefits of it, but it's benefits. The prior slide was benefits for an agent. These are benefits for the buyers and sellers. You're referring a client to an agent that knows the area that they're in as well, right? So you want to make sure that they do business in that area, that they know the area, that, you know, there's good recommendations for them. It builds trust as well. If you refer somebody to a restaurant or something, it's kind of a stamp of approval. It's the same thing. They're getting a stamp of approval from an agent that they know or have worked with. Moving is a chore, so an agent-to-agent referral can help take something off their plate. They don't have to search out another agent, and you're more likely to get into transactions sooner. They're also going to know the inventory and the market in those areas that you don't know, right? So you want to make sure, again, that somebody, you're referring to somebody that does business, knows the area, that type of stuff.
And I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say there's probably a majority of referrals that I get from other agents I'm not pitching to. So when I go to those meetings, I'm pitching myself, but I pretty quickly get into how I can serve them. And then like I find that probably over 50% of those, I'm not even pitching against another broker. This is me. Oh, or you hold on. You hold on. All right. So so residential to commercial referrals and vice versa is meant to be the slide. Most of the time, most of what we have here is residential to commercial. And then we'll go into this in a little more detail in a follow-up training. So the benefits being, the core benefits are generally similar to the out-of-state referrals like we were just talking about. Keys would be setting expectations within the commercial world, and then there's lease deals, there's sale deals, there's buyer rep, there's representing big companies, there's small companies, there's salons down the street. There's so many different types of commercial deals. So setting the expectations up front with the agents are really, really, really important. Frequency of communication. In the world of residential, you're closing homes in a month or less, and in commercial, especially with land deals, I still have some land deals that I've been working on for 3 years. I closed a big one last year that I've been working on for 3.5. And this is my theory that there are enhanced local benefit versus out-of-state referrals in this specific relationship because of the potential overlap within the spheres of influence between the residential and commercial agents. Because if you perform well in both scenarios, you're leveling up both individuals. And then if you have that overlap of sphere, I think it amplifies the effect, the result. Commercial conversations. So this is a plug for a future class that we'll be talking about, getting from maybe some surface level conversations to maybe probably the top 3 or 4 most common leads within the commercial world and how to talk about them and get very basic information, which will help anyone on the commercial side that you refer to. I do believe there's value if you're at a company like KWPP, to be able to say that our office also does commercial, our office also does lending, our office also does management. The more full service that you can pitch your company to be, I think it just levels everybody up. And doing it well, obviously. And ROI for time, this actually goes both ways. There are lots and lots and lots of commercial deals that are really, really small or that don't end up. It's not really, it's a little different than residential. They have an outsized amount of time that you spend on them for the amount of money you make. At the same time, you could get the needle in the haystack, and you could get with just, whatever, 30 minutes of your time, you could be sending a pretty large commercial referral, and those usually take longer to close. But at the very end of the day, it still could be a pretty large referral fee, which I think we've talked about a couple of them in the last several years.
Big ones.
Okay. This one, this is kind of the pro insight model. This is Justin Stoddart's model of business relationships. Those individuals within your sphere or your niche, whatever type of real estate you're doing, that touch those attorneys, financial advisors, the list goes on. And I got involved when Justin started his Pro Insight group, and I only can attend usually one every couple months of his weekly presentations, but they're always great. And he dives into very, very specific referral relationships and extracts like the details of how it works. So I actually really like that as a network. And I've actually used that for my clients crossing state lines. So if somebody's like, hey, I just sold my commercial space here. I'm trying to find an attorney or a financial advisor or somebody local in Boise, then I'll look on the Pro Insight map. Similar to what we'll get to in a couple minutes, KW also has a resource for doing that. It is internal to Keller Williams. But I found, at least on the commercial side, we don't have the same numbers and quality yet nationwide. So depending on where my referral is to, I'll look first in the KW commercial or the Keller Williams referral map source first. If I can't find anybody, then I go outside and look at other companies. It also depends on what type of lead it is.
I think it's pretty important. These are all pretty important, but finding partners strategically, you want to find one that complements you. They're not a competitor, someone that does business the same way, someone that your clients are going to feel comfortable with, or someone that would connect well with your clients based on their needs. This is a big one, and I think it's probably one of the most important, regardless of whether it's a commercial agent or residential, but you want to stay top of mind with them, just like you do with your clients. So nurturing those relationships, again, Popeyes, thank you cards, newsletters, action plans, all of that. Actively promote your referrals. So you can inform your current clients, your past clients, that you basically can help them do real estate in any state, right? And you want to make that known so that they come to you. Sometimes they might go to somebody else because they don't even think that you could possibly do real estate in another state, which you might not be able to, but you definitely know somebody who can. So really letting your clients know that strategically, whether I've seen people put things on their email signatures, all kinds of different ways to let your clients know. Don't just limit your relationship to referrals. Once you've built your network of partners, work together and generate. I really liked this one. Actually, Sydney found this and put it together. And I love the fact that it talks about branding your content. So you're working with those partners and branding together, which just makes your community larger. You're seeing more, you're promoting each other. So I kind of like that idea. Definitely want to try it. This is a map of where people are moving to and from based on, the top states, and can send this whole thing to you, but
Where's this from?
This is from the presentation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which was from realtor.com. Joe was just telling me about realtor.com.
it might have been NAR research or realtor.com.
Joe was just telling me about a tool that just shows this exact thing. You can type in the county, state, and it shows you where everybody's moving to. It's pretty cool. So when I saw this, and then Joe sent me, it's realtor.com,
Nice.
migration trends. So we can send that link out. Yeah.
So if you don't know, you should have some friends in California and Washington that are realtor partners.
Yeah. Yes.
And it slightly changes by county too. I looked at the 3 counties. We just looked at it before the presentation. So like Multnomah, LA County is the highest, and then go to Clackamas, it actually drops a little bit lower.
That's kind of cool that
Yeah.
you can tell that. Good.
So.
Good information.
Depending on your market.
So this is this is a brief explanation, and again, we can send you this, but just a quick overview that I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on, but how you can access and start building your network through command.
Has everyone used this tool? Okay, sounds like it.
You can break it down a few different ways. Here's a map that will allow you to search for referrals. You can break it down by production. You can look at a market center view. The view adds an icon for the map for each market center, which is nice because a lot of times I know that people will go through, call someone like Corinne at their office and ask them for a referral for an agent. So here's, the largest market centers. You can break it down by their profile picture. You want them to look good. Just kidding. So you can find out more about them too, but you can filter like how, if they speak a certain language, how many units they've sold, their volume, listings versus buys. I mean, you can really get detailed if you really want to get to know these agents.
And then on the flip side, making sure that yours is updated. Like if you speak other languages, make sure they're in there. Like
It's a really good point.
Felicity just got one for Spanish speaking. I know Grace, like Kim, like her second day here, she got one for Korean speaking referral. And she was like, well, this is awesome. Right. So, but you have to make sure to put it in there so people can find you.
And I would mess around with it too and search for yourself. So update your information and then figure out like how the keywords work, whether to put information in the description versus other sections. So I would mess around with that a little bit so you can figure out how other people are going to find you, and just play around with how you sort. Like in commercial, we don't have the luxury. There aren't as many commercial brokers. So I normally just only click commercial because we'll look in certain cities and there'll be like 2 people. So I'm going to call both of them regardless versus we can't. If I add in production and all these other things, it makes it a little more complicated to find people.
That reminds me, I think maybe or definitely checking your profile because there used to be this, I know that it still exists, but it was broadcasts and I used to get them a lot more than I do now. Are you familiar with broadcasts at all? So when you're looking for an agent, you can go in and you can do this specifically, or you can send a broadcast out and it gives them a certain window of time that they have to respond to. And so obviously I'm in those agents network, they broadcast out for an agent and they're basically interviewing you or wanting you to respond. And I used to get a lot of those emails, so I'm guessing that I probably need to update my profile or something.
Yeah, no, and that's a good reminder. And if you don't know how to do that or want help with that, Cole can help you too to like tag certain things.
Oh, before we get to this part, this is my favorite part, the last part of the presentation. And what I'm most excited to learn more about this year for myself is what happens mostly when you get out of real estate, you retire or something changes, what happens to your business? Well, that would be the idea, but I think more than not, it kind of just ends, right?
Right.
It just somebody else, they find another agent, or why do we spend 20, 30 years building a business, working our tails off to just let it end? I mean, if you had a commercial building, I used to own med spas. I didn't just walk away from them. I sold them. Why don't we do that with our own business? So this is a big one for me. I'm excited to learn more about, and it's called, there was a book written about it. I'm sure many of you have heard about it, but it's called The Golden Handoff, and it's what you can do, basically selling your business or creating passive income. And you can do that both with local agents, you can do it state to state. But this is probably, it took me a while to understand this because I'm like, who has time for this? You know what I mean? Like socializing so much, but it is important to build relationships with local agents because they are going to retire or they're going to have lifestyle changes or family changes. They may move out of state. And so where does their business go? Well, I want my hand up that it comes to me. You want your hand up that it comes to you. So we do want to get to know our local agents. We do want to mastermind with them. We want to nurture them and we want to create those relationships because people do retire and they move on. And so creating it's kind of like a whole nother action plan, and putting yourself in situations where you can get to know local agents. Like I said, you can do it nationwide as well, but so that you're creating something worth selling or a legacy or something that somebody else finds value in the future.
Matthew Ray is on a panel for this at Family Reunion. Yeah.
Perfect. You have anything to add to that? Yeah.
So obviously a lot of agents and one-offs left the industry, right? Wouldn't it have been nice? Wouldn't it have been nice if we were having something like this on a regular basis where people were like, this isn't working out for me, but there's still a lot of referrals that they receive for the next 12 months, even since they left. So just an idea, reaching out to any agents that, have retired might be a good idea to, warm that up and be like, hey, you're probably going to have some other business coming in. I'd love to be where that goes. So
There's so many different levels of what this could look like, right? It could be literally bought as a company or like a business or a team being acquired. It could be just the database. It could be referral based as an agreement for a certain period of time. It's just like selling a company. There's actually no one way that companies are sold. So yeah, I like this idea. So
tell me about your handoff. Vet it out agent of your center. When you introduce your client to the agent, or do you rely on an agent?
So I had the experience. What started this for me is I had the experience. It was right family reunion after COVID, and there was an agent out of New York, and she did. She put together an event, and she called the major. This is when I was at Portland Central, but she called all the major market centers, and she asked their Corinne basically who were the top, performers in that office, and she took probably 2 or 3 of them. She chatted with them, and then she picked one. And so we all went to this event that she created that she had funded by lenders, title companies. So it didn't cost her anything but her time. And I say there were probably 50 people in the room. I don't know. I'm guessing right now. And what she did is she did like the speed dating thing. And so there were 2 of you at a table. You spent a certain amount of time at each table, and she had the questions lined up that she was asking. So she had topics for you to talk about. It was brilliant. And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. That year, I got 9 referrals from that referral network alone. So it was pretty incredible. You have to, she put a lot of time and effort into it, but I would do that all day long. But to answer your question is we got to know each other. I mean, I'm being very honest. There were agents I'm like, I don't ever want to work with this person. You know what I mean? And there were agents that are when, man, I just want to talk to them for hours and learn as much as I can from them. So it really was put us in a good situation to get to know each other, even though it was just a small window of time. And then there was a social hour afterward, and you could get to know who you wanted to even more. But it was phenomenal for a referral business. And I had taken that list that year, and I nurtured them all year long by sending them, I sent them something right after the event, and then I sent them monthly emails. And I think twice that year, I sent them something in the mail, a Starbucks card or just whatever. But I don't introduce my client to them until I've decided that I would work with them personally. Because at that point, if something goes wrong, and I had this experience early on as well, where I referred to someone in Florida, and they didn't have a great experience, and I did not know that agent. I just kind of based on their production, and it was a disaster. And then it was my fault because I referred them. So I didn't make that mistake again.
And if you're not the super outgoing type, it's always great to just find someone in your network who knows a lot of people, and then you can talk to them or have some sort of agreement with them and ask, if you're getting a lot of referrals, just be like, who do you know in this state? Who do you know in this state? And most people will help. Generally, the rule of thumb is like whoever has the relationship gets the referral fee, even though there's normally like a daisy chain of agents or brokers that are, getting that client to the right spot for whatever type of deal it is. If you're regularly going through somebody who's that's part of what they've spent their time on in developing their business, then, maybe there's a way to honor that relationship in a little different way.
I would
Versus
actually
like
like to create some sort of event this year based on that somehow. I haven't don't have it quite figured out yet, but I think what was so great, because if you've been on the command site, have you guys been on? I mean, you could get lost for days in there. You could have thousands of referral agents. What does that mean exactly? Not a lot, because you don't really know them, right? So, I mean, it's a great place to start. I think I definitely would start there, and I would get in front of as many people as I can. But through that process, you definitely want to narrow down who you want to be nurturing. You can't be nurturing. How many agents do we have in the Portland metro area?
Like
too many.
12,000. Yeah.
You can't, right? Nationwide. So it does require some time. It does require some research. It does require some conversations. But again, it's a strong lead. I mean, that's a referral that's coming from someone vetted.
Yeah, I think you're hitting
You're
on
not
the
chasing
quality over
quality.
quantity, right? Like
Correct.
you need, if you had one really great person in some of these other places.
Right.
And then like reward, like I've sent a couple referrals to someone in Seattle, at a Keller Williams too, and I just met her at one of our regional events, and she's wonderful. And every time people will ask me who's an, do you have an agent in Seattle, and I'll tell them, and then she'll send me like a thank you cookie, and they have a whole thing, and it's like this beautiful little package of, it's like a cookie and a card, and you're like, oh, that's like, so, just those little things. And it's not even just the referring agent. She'll always send them to me. So it just makes you pay attention to those things of like, what are you doing to reciprocate and thank the people giving you referrals too?
I think Sydney just sent out a couple of thank yous to a person like you at another office in California. So,
Mhm.
You have to stay in front of them because you want them to do it again, right? And the more that you're engaged with, whether it is several people down the line, the more that you're engaged with them, the more people like to be recognized.
Mhm.
And it's
And it's like
take much, it
it's
can
more
be small
memorable
things.
too.
Absolutely. And I can promise you they're not doing it because I refer people and I am to yet get a gift. I don't care. But my point is there's people out there doing this that really aren't doing it to the level that they could be,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I gave that one example because that's not the norm, right?
that was the norm. That's
one
one time,
time,
but
that's
it set them
was the
apart
one
and you
time that-
remembered,
the
right?
one person I know who always does that, right?
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, it's noticeable because
It
most
is
people don't.
noticeable, for sure.
So look out for this year, probably once a quarter, we'll dive way deeper into some of the topics. And we already have two presenters that fall into one of these four buckets. So we'll probably have both of them be speaking and then presenting in conjunction with those topics probably twice in the next 6 months. So look out for that.
Would
I love
anybody
that.
be interested in like a workshop, like a hands-on, like going into command and going through the process of picking agents, or do you have a good handle on that, or setting up what they're called smart plans on command, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and Cole can help with any of that.
I just think
too.
that so you're sitting in a room and you're kind of doing it. It's kind of one thing to take a class and we go off and we take notes and then we don't get to it. But if you're
Mhm.
sitting somewhere and you actually do it right then,
Yeah.
you're more apt to something.
Mhm. And then in command, you can also invite people to be like your like referral friend, not when you have a referral, so ahead of time. So if you're like, well, I don't have a good partner in Bend, or I don't have a good person in San Diego or whatever, you could go in there and try to find, I know, Nick.
If for no other reason, going into command and setting that up, if for no other reason than the broadcast itself, if you did nothing else, you would want to be on there. You would want your profile set up and you would want to have, asking people to join your network and accepting their requests as well for just the broadcast alone. Because
So
the broadcast is really going to help you
So you
develop
could-
that relationship if you win the broadcast.
so this is a question. I've never done a broadcast. So you can only broadcast to people that are in your referral network. You can't do like a
I'm
broader.
gonna have to get back
I
to you on
think
that.
so. I think so.
I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. I've never personally done a broadcast. I've just
People
seen
doing it.
them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a great
And-
idea and concept. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a broadcast would almost, and I'll research this more, but I feel like it would be more for if you don't really know the agent that well, because my experience with it was they sent the broadcast out. I responded. They called me or I called them. We had a conversation. It was almost like a mini interview.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
Like a
great. I thought it was-
precursor. Yeah.
Mhm.
I know we've talked about agent to agent referrals a lot, but I want to go back maybe just to the allied partners referrals, because that's something that like everyone in this room, if they're not doing now, they could go do. Do you have any good tips for like joining networking groups or like becoming, getting, like building those relationships?
Anything in the B&I world. I will always recommend Justin Stoddard's group, Pro Insight. I think he breaks it down by like zip codes. So depending on how many are still available, I don't know exactly how he does it, but I refer other people from other areas to join that Pro Insight group.
I
Like
mean, it could be-
chambers would be good. Any of those.
It can be taken far. I mean, I know people that do their kids' sporting, I mean, you can go dentists, coaches, hairdressers. You can go as deep with it as you want. Kama, who is now Matthew Ray, she would do an event every year for her vendors. It was specifically for them. It was a luncheon just for vendors. because she wanted to I mean, she treated every partner like they were a client. And so they were on action plans. They have their specific events. You can go, I mean, it's what I like about this whole model is it's about building relationships, and it's more about your time than it is money. And then those leads are more vetted because those relationships. And we're all the talk right now about leads is relationship, sphere, you know. So all of this falls into that.
Any questions from you guys?
You got. Thank you for listening.
And I'm excited for your committee this year and some of those other guest speakers that you have lined up. So that is great. If you're going to family reunion next week, something to think about, right? Like, how are you going to be? Who do you actually want to make connections with? Like, right? Instead of just people from all over. And going back to the quality over quantity, you know, you see the people just like passing out their card to everybody, but like maybe making fewer real connections, right? So just thinking about that ahead of time and having a plan. But yeah, we will be gone next week for family reunion. And if you're here, watch the live stream. And if you want any help with command, any sort, reach out to Cole and he'll schedule a one-on-one with you to either build out your profile to help you find referrals and build out your network, things like that. Yeah, Joe.
What's here? Monday's a holiday.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Even though I will be excited with you.
That is true for the whole staff and the whole leadership team. I keep reminding the guys, it's work in Vegas. We are working, right? So, oh gosh, where's work? So yes, we're all still available remotely, and Steph will be holding down the fort with a little bit of help here. So, have a great week, you guys, and see you soon.